Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to today's tutorial. And in today's tutorial I'll be sharing with you guys how I made this beautiful outfit that I'm wearing. Sorry, the skirt isn't showing properly, but I'm going to share that as the video progresses. So if this is something you'd like to learn, let's just get right into the video. So we'll start by rolling our starting line, and after that we'll start taking all basic measurements which we need, which are our shoulder to our bust point, our shoulder to our under bust point. And after taking our shoulder to our under bust point, we are going to measure our shoulder to our waistline. So all these measurements we are taking, they are the measurements in which every other measurement will start. And from the waistline, we're going to add about 8 inches for our hip line. So that's what I'm actually marking at this point. Then after marking 8 inches, if you're very tall, you can as well mark 10 or 9 inches. So we're just going to rule a straight line across, which are the marks which we measurements which we took earlier. So after doing that, we are just going to come up by 2 inches. This is for our chest line. From the bust point, you're coming up by 2 inches. So I'm just marking or writing my chest line, my bust point, my under bust point, my waistline, and my hip line. After that, I'm just going to mark my shoulder measurement divided by 2, and I'm also marking that on my chest line. And then I'm going to rule a straight line just like so. And after doing that, I'm just going to take the standard neckline, which is 3 by 3. I'm just going to take a width of 3 inches and a depth of 3 inches, and then I'll make a square at first, so it will be easier for me to make a round neck. I'm just using my curve rule to just make a round neck at this point. This is a basic one. I'm coming down by 1 inches because our shoulders are slant and not straight. So I'm just going to slant that meeting to the neck point. And then to make my armhole curve, whatever that is left, I'm just going to divide that into 2, just as you see me doing, and mark the midpoint. After marking the midpoint, I'm going to come in by ½ inches, so I'll be able to create my curve. And on the chest line, I'm going to measure my bust measurement divided by 4, and then I will mark and then take it to the ½ inches which I came out from, just like so, and then I will rule a straight line just like so, and you can see that we have our armhole curve. And after that, we're using a princess dart. We're just going to mark our bust span measurement divided by 2, which is our nipple to nipple divided by 2 plus ½ inches. That's what I marked. But at the under bust, you're going to remove the ½ inches, and then you're just going to take that all the way down to the hip line or the M line of your blouse or whatever you are sewing, and we're just going to make our row connecting all of them. And from the bust point, we're just going to make a curve meeting with the midpoint which we took that time on the straight line, if you remember. So now to make our side curve, we're just going to come in by 2 inches because I'm of a big bust size. So I came in by 2 inches, and then I'm going to rule a straight line from the hip line to the under bust line. And from the under bust, I'm taking a curve, and I'm actually making it deep, a little bit deep. I'm making a curve meeting with the bust point just like so. And after doing that, at the armhole, I'm just going to come in by ½ inches and also ½ inches on both sides, so it will be easier for me to meet the side cup meeting with it, just like so. Sorry, that part I'm actually blocking it. So I'm creating a dart, so after we take that dart, at the armhole side, it will not be bulging. So after doing that, we're just going to take our waist measurement plus the dart which we took, which was that 2 inches, and then plus our sewing allowance. I took 2 inches sewing allowance as well. That means ½ inches, like when I am joining all the way around. On my hip line, I took my hip measurement divided by 4 plus the dart and then 2 inches sewing allowance. So now I'm just going to connect all of these measurements which I've actually marked. So I'm just going to connect a straight line, but the one meeting with the hip line, I'm just going to make a curve just like so, because around our hip is not straight, so we're just making a curve meeting with it just like so. Now for our conical shape, if you notice, like there's like a hip part there. So you're just going to use your free hand and just make a curve, meeting down just like so. I actually did not take a measurement, but let's say after your hip line measurement, you can just come in by 2.5 inches, and then you make a very high curve, just as you see me doing. I used my free hand, so you will see what I am doing. So you're just going to trace out just like so after you've taken your hip measurement. So I'm using the marker to mark out so you see exactly what the curve looks like. So we are eliminating that first curve and then using this. So now to get our square for our neckline, from the chest line I'm coming up by 1 inches because I don't want it to be too open. um but if you want it to be closer than mine, you can as well come up by 2 inches, and then you're just going to rule a straight line meeting with that 1 inches which I came up with. I used 3 inches as the wideness as well, just as we did for our beginning neck width. And after that, we are just going to cut out because we are done with the drafting of our front bodies of this tutorial. So after that, the next thing I'm going to do is to measure my darts from the back and the front, and the difference is 2 inches. That's why I stepped down by 2 inches, meeting with my bust point, just like so. If you don't do this, like your back waistline and that of your front waistline will not be meeting each other. So I actually forgot to add my half inches, to the shortest part of the side bust curve. So I just added at this point. Don't worry, it's not going to affect anything. And then I made my new armhole curve. So after doing that, the next thing, we're just going to cut out. We are not done because we have not opened our darts. I'm just taking out the bust dart which I created earlier, meeting with the side curve which I later did. So I'm just going to cut out just like so, following the new armhole curve which I created, not the first one that we did. And then I'll cut and I follow the conical hip line just like so. And after that, I'm opening my dart just as I told you earlier, and then I'm going to cover up. You can see that we need to add to it. You can see that the sides are not actually straight, so I'm going to introduce a new paper to it just like so, so I can make it straight, else my fabric will be actually short. So I have made it straight. Now after that, this is our neck. I'm just cutting out to open just as we did. If you don't want yours to be as wide as mine, it's fine, you can come up by 2 inches. So now on my fabric, I've added a tissue gum stay to it, and I have placed my front drafted sheet on it. I'm going to use this to cut out the back as well. So I'm cutting out the front, which we did. So this same front, I'm using it to cut the center back. So this is the front, and after doing that, now I want to cut out the center back. So I'm just going to place this and pin down. Remember, we have removed a chunk of the front part, but we are going to add that back plus our zipper. So if you don't have a drafting sheet, you can as well work like this. So for the back, I stepped the neck by 2 inches and the width of 3 inches, just as we did for the front. You can see me adding all that I have removed, and then extended by 2 inches, which is for the zipper. I'm just running a straight line. You can see that I've added that part that I removed. So I'm just going to add 2 inches just like so for my zipper. You can see if you don't have enough drafting sheet, you can do it just like this. It's always easier with that, or maybe making you to waste your sheets and all of that. So we are just going to cut out because we have added our zipper as well, and our back dart and every necessary thing that we need to do. So automatically with this, we have cut out both our center front and that of our center back. So we are just going to take this out just like so. And then for the side front, this is it. The side front has that bust part, so we are just going to cut this out just like so. And we are using this same side front which we've drafted. We'll use it to cut the back, because the back, the only difference is it does not have a bust. So I'm just going to fold that pointy bust parts out just like so, and then we have that for the back. Now if you want to make a princess dart, it's always easier to work on it just like so. We're just going to cut out, and then we have drafted both our back and our front together. So now for our breast pad, I added very light breast pad. I'm bringing my side curve or drafted sheet and just making a curve out just like so. So it will be easier for me to use this to cut out my soft wording. I actually use the very soft wording because I'm already busting. So I don't need something that will just be giving me extra boobs or something just, filling it. So for the center part of it, we are just going to cut out from the under bust side. This is what I did. And then we are just going to come down from the bust point, the chest line rather. We're coming down from the chest line, let's say by 0.75, just like so. And then we have a breast pad for the side and also for the middle. So you can see this is for the middle. For the middle, you are cutting it into, you're folding it into two, but for the sides, they are open because you are going to share it for the two side of the um breast. So we're just going to place, this is one side just like so, and this is the other side just I stated earlier. Then for the center part, it is not divided into two, they are actually together just like the main material you have cut. You can see how it is. So after doing that, the next thing, we're just going to join the sides meeting with the center just like so, the both side. Please, whatever you are doing for the main fabric, you're also doing for the lining. So this is the back. We're just going to put the back together just like so, and also the sides. I'm just demonstrating because it just sewing and we're basically done. Like I said, whatever you do for main material, do for your lining. So this is what we have after we have joined our breast part. So we are just going to bring our lining just like so, placing it right side facing each other. I'm just trying to pin to make sure everything is meeting together. Like I said, if the front is too deep for you, please just come up by 2 inches. So preferably whichever way that you want. So I'm just arranging so we can just sew the lining and the main material together just like so. And also you do that for the back as well. So this is what we have after I have joined the lining and the main material, and this is the back. So now the next thing we're going to do is for us to join our shoulder together. So you are going to make sure like they are all meeting together. The back is divided into two and the front is just a single piece. So after this, the next thing, we're just joining our shoulder. So you're meeting the material together and the lining together. This way it always makes the shoulder to be smoother and looks a bit looks way neater. And then for our sleeve, if you don't want your sleeve to be as long as mine, you can make it to be short as that of the thumbnail. So we're cutting out the basic sleeve just like so, and then here you decide how long you want it. I wanted mine to be long. And after that, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to put an elastic at the end part of the sleeve, this part I am folding. After we have joined our sleeve together, the next thing, I mean our shoulders together, the next thing we are going to join our sleeve. So after joining the sleeve, we are automatically done with this tutorial. We can just look at the elastic that I have added. So like I said, if you don't want yours to be long, please don't make it as long as mine. You can keep it. The thumbnail should be around let's say 9 inches. That will give you the short length that you want. So we are just going to join our sleeve and our shoulder together. And please, when you are joining your sleeve and the shoulder, make it pleat so you can have that balloon sleeve. So for the skirt, I used 4 yards of material. I just folded all together. I didn't take any measurement. The only measurement I took was the length of how long I wanted the skirt to be. I didn't take any hip measurements. I didn't take any okay, I think I took waist measurement because I worked with a waistband. But aside that, I used 4 yards of chiffon material and I just folded all together so I'll be able to cut it. It's just a straight thing, and this is the waistband. So now this waistband, you're just going to have exactly your waist measurements, and when you get your waist measurement, you're just going to pleat the chiffon on it. There is an opening. Now the remaining opening, that is where you are going to put your zipper, and that is just how to sew the skirt. So this is what it looks like after I have pleated mine on it just like so, and I added a punchy lining. Chiffon can be very light, so sometimes light, but I added a punchy lining to it because I didn't want it to be very thick. You take your waist measurement and you add a zipper, and we are done. So thank you so much guys for staying tuned and watching to the end. Please, if you have watched to this moment, please subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, give a thumbnail, and we'll definitely see you, give a thumbs up rather, I will see you in my next video.